Today on this channel, guys, we're going to be checking out the Meepo board version 2. Meepo, the affordable fun. So it seems a little bit like deja vu, the amount of Meepo boards have opened the last year, but this one's the V2 and it's got some definite changes. So we're going to get this box open. The amount of skateboards Meepo is sending out these days, it's got some good packaging. Alright, so let's see what else we get in here. And we have the now familiar. So this is the main board. Let's get this plastic off. And here's the new Meepo board. Now on first inspection this deck seems identical to the 1.5, but we'll take a closer look at this board in a little minute. First up, let's see what else we get inside this box. Now we also get, here's the manual that comes with the board. It's well printed, it's quite small. I think it's actually the same manual that came with the 1.5 board, so we won't waste too much time reading through the manual again, but decent manual. Now one of the biggest changes is this new remote. The old Meepo remote was a sort of cheap Esk8 remote with a little trigger. This one has a wheel system, which is typically seen on the boosted board, and it generally makes these Esk8s a whole lot more controllable. So I can't wait to try out this new Meepo remote. I'll get it charged for later. What else do we get? We've got a familiar skate tool. This time it's branded with the Meepo board logo. Not sure that makes much of a difference, but it's always a nice touch. Another traditional feature you get with the Meepo board is you get some free cheap lights that you can fit on your board. Always pretty handy. And we have a coat hanger. Just joking, I mean board hanger. This is pretty handy, comes with screws, you can always stick your board on the wall. Not a bad little addition. We've also got some free complimentary rubber gasket. This is great if you have to take your case off and maybe you lose your gasket. You've always got a replacement one. And at the very bottom, last but not least, we've got the charger. Let's get this board charged up. If we have a look at the bottom of the Meepo board, we can see not much has changed from the 1.5. We have the familiar plastic battery enclosure, same deck, this time with a warning, giving a bit of a disclaimer and warning us to wear our helmet. Always a good idea when riding, guys. At the back here we have the same ESC enclosure as the 1.5, so yeah, pretty similar. The Meepo front wheels, well, they're the same, 90mm 78A. Now they have the Meepo board logo branded on them. They look good, but not much else has changed. One of the most obvious differences with this new Meepo board compared to the previous editions is they've got a Meepo branded plastic hub motor cover. It looks nice and it makes it obvious to spot the difference between a 2.0 and a 1.5. Today and we've got the Meepo board ready. Let's turn it on.
Yeah,
now
I'm going to get
it's got a new button compared to the old Meepo board. Let's get the remote on.
I'm going to get a set eventually. Well, I'm going to help you.
See if we can get this thing to pair.
I'm going to get a bigger battery.
Straight away we're paired. Awesome. Alright, so we've got the Meepo board on and this new remote feels pretty good with the wheel. So I'm going to put my helmet on. While I'm doing that, let's give this board a little flex test. Reasonable bit of flex on this board. Alright, so time to give this thing a shot. so first impressions on this new Meepo board. Deck feels pretty bouncy, and this new remote makes quite a big difference. A lot easier to control. Going over a bit of rough ground now, and so far it feels pretty good. Similar to the old Meepo, really. The next thing I say about the Meepo board is it's going up the hill pretty well. We're on a pretty steep hill and we're powering up it. Almost keeping up with the Evolves. This remote, so far, only good things to say. This wheel, I can really control it well. The only thing is, why'd you make it orange? I guess it's the color of the logo, but it looks hideous. So we're just heading down this big hill in Hollywood now, and it's time to test the brakes. The control feels pretty good. I'm not totally sure I could stomp the board. Let's give it a shot. I'm still rolling a little bit, but screeching to a halt. Not bad for the brakes. Another thing I'd say about this board is these trucks are pretty carvy, straight out of the factory, no complaints. We'd be hard pressed to find a bigger hill than Arthur's Seat, so let's give this thing a hill test. So we're heading up the hill now. I've got two Evolve riders in front of me. Can we keep up with them in the Meepo? Let's find out. And it's fair to say the Evolves are beating me up the hill. I just don't quite have the power to keep up with these guys. So I've made it to the top of the hill. The only problem I've got though is we're already at half battery. 2 bars out of 4. And I've got a GTX right behind me and it's on 97%. Not so great. While these Evolve guys are speeding ahead down the hill in front of me, I thought it'd be a good time to try the regen. Hopefully we can end up this hill with more than 2 batteries. Regenning like a bitch all the way down here. Hopefully we'll get some charge. Still going down this hill. Time for another brake test. I mean, we've got to say, the brakes in this board, they're certainly decent. They're pretty solid. Just coming down the hill, we seem to have got a bit of damage on the hub motor cover. Alright, we've got Neil here. He's going to have a wee shot at the Meepo board. Neil, there's the remote. You'll need your shades for that remote. Forward and back, just like the boosted board. Yeah,
not too bad, nice and smooth. A bit slow on the acceleration compared to the Evolve.
So a bit slow on the acceleration compared to the Evolve.
Slower, it's not as responsive, but the brakes are fantastic, and to be honest, it's a lot better than I expected it to be. A lot more smoother.
So what do you think of the wheel? Could you control it with that wheel?
Yeah, this actually works really well. But it does take when you put the acceleration on, it does take a second or so to respond, and it just slowly speeds up with the Evolve.
More of a kick.
Yeah,
more torque.
Further kick.
Yeah.
You know, but no, not too bad.
Not too bad for 350 quid.
Oh yeah, definitely 350 quid.
That's brilliant.
That's what, like a fifth of the price of an Evolve.
Yep.
But yeah, if I start at board, pretty good, and once you get used to it, I think it's a good board, definitely for that price.
It's already been up and down the hill. We're just going to keep riding on this Meepo until we run out of power. And it finally looks like the Meepo battery has given up the ghost. Conclusion, what did we think of the Meepo board version 2? First up, top speed, we got this board to go about 22 miles an hour, which certainly is respectable. As far as range goes, we managed to get 7 to 8 kilometers out of this board before it started beeping and running out of battery. As far as the deck goes, there's a good bit of flex on this deck, and it does feel quite nice. It certainly takes some of the bumps out of the road. We quite like the Meepo deck. The hub motors on the Meepo 2.0 seem to be very similar to the 1.5. However, now we have a lovely branded Meepo hub motor cover. The best thing about this new Meepo board is far and away the remote. Although it looks a bit strange in orange colour, I'd have much preferred black. This wheel allows for precision control, much like I had on the boosted board. I can certainly control the board a lot better with this new remote. Charge time for this board, it took about 2.5 hours to charge up from empty, which we've got to say is about average. As far as the hill climb goes, it was pretty impressive. While we didn't quite have the torque or the power of the boosted or the GTX, this board made up some pretty impressive hills that other boards certainly wouldn't make. And as far as the braking goes, I've got to say the braking on this board might have actually been better. The good thing about building a board with OEM components from China, you end up with a cheap price. The bad thing is, you end up with a lot of competition, just like we've seen. And the only thing that remains to set Meepo apart from its competition is its excellent customer service. It's been about a year since Meepo came out with the 1.0, and over that year, they've made a great number of gradual improvements. First up with the 1.5, we got this new deck, which replaced a very stiff deck for a deck that has a good bit of flex on it. Next up in the 2.0, we got a new remote, with that wheel system I showed you earlier. And that allows for a lot more control and finesse when you're riding the board. We've got to hand it to Meepo for making all those improvements in such a short space of time. They've kept this board, arguably, the best beginner e-skate.